So we just watched the H3 podcast After Dark saying that was talking about like the real reason why, you know, Frenemies is over. It was a lot of words for a lot of nothing. Basically, they were just contesting the whole Disney thing. Ethan tried to pay for Disney. They wouldn't let him. Disney has like a flat rate for their VIP tickets up to 10 people, so they didn't even pay extra money for that. Trisha insisted on paying for her own birthday. I don't know why, but like this would be a very weird lie. And also, Trisha's talked about buying like $100,000 like purses. I'm not really super empathetic towards somebody who spends that much money. Trisha is also a known liar, so I wouldn't doubt that the whole thing's a lie. That's pretty much what the whole thing amounted to. That's it. So, okay, we're gonna watch the real reason why Frenemies broke up. And I feel like this is you want to know what my take on this is, because it's just going to be more of the same thing, because Trisha just wants to stay relevant at this point. The real reason that Frenemies broke up was because it was always doomed from the start, okay? Ethan knew Trisha was like a toxic cesspool, okay? He knew that she was like really toxic, but what the reality is that every time he had her on his show, he would do really well in views. And so he brought her onto the show, gave her a really good deal, because he just wanted to get her on so he could advertise for his other platforms. Before Frenemies, they were getting like 300,000 to 500,000 views, which is really a lot. And then after, they're getting like 1 million plus views on his podcast. So he pulled in a new audience from Trisha, because we know how YouTube works. You sit on YouTube, you're usually just doing whatever. I'm fucking sitting here playing video games. You guys are probably doing whatever. And it's like, oh, look, this is a video. Oh, Ethan's in my time. I'll watch that. That's what you do. Like, nobody goes to YouTube to be like, yes, I can't wait for except for my videos. I know you guys are like, yeah, I can't wait for Public Up. But outside of that, everything else is like, okay, I guess I'll watch it. Like, you're bored. It's just like television. It's the same goddamn thing. Okay. And so like he got more people, and so that's why I kind of like, listen, the situation, Ethan got screwed a little bit, but I'm getting to the point where I feel like Ethan knew what he was getting into. He probably didn't think it was going to last very long, so he's like, yeah, I'll give her a great deal. It'll pull some other people to my other platforms. And then they developed a friendship, and then like Moses, and then I guess they fell in love. I don't know how. I don't know how you fall in love with this. Whatever. I digress, okay? And it got a little complicated, and it blew up multiple times. Ethan clearly tried to be your friend, and then she's a toxic cesspool. And I'm not trying to take away agency from her, but, like, Trisha to me is a dark alley at night, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you go down a dark alley at night and somebody robs you, it's the robber's fault, 100%. But, like, you also probably shouldn't have gone down the dark alley at night. You know what I'm saying? And Trisha is that dark alley. And, you know, I'm not super empathetic towards Ethan. At this point, I'm like, you know what? He knew what he was getting into, and that's the life. So let's watch Trisha's response. Or just turn the video off right now. It's probably going to be nothing. It's just, yeah, I'm telling you guys, just turn the video. Go do something better with your life. I didn't even watch it. It's going to be terrible. I can tell you. But let's watch this video at like hyper speed, because frankly, I'm sorry, but I feel like everybody feels the same way. It's like, this is dumb. And I feel like the longer that Ethan engages with her, the worse he looks by association, because everybody expects this level of just nothingness from Trisha, but like, Ethan has, people don't expect that from Ethan. And so I think that's why Trisha remained relevant. People would stick with her. People would argue with her, and you look worse and worse the longer you let it drag on. Anyway, somebody told me to take a look at their merch, sadboy.com. Yeah. Okay. $95 for a hoodie. Somehow this bucket hat, these are sold out. They must have not been 3,000% overpriced. This is expensive. $40 for a... Who designed this? Did she just dig out her old book from when she was a kid, like from school, and just like tell them to, like, yeah, put that on a shirt and charge $40? I could do this myself. I could literally buy a sweatshirt for like $20 and then draw this on it myself. Why would I ever buy this? Also, to be honest with you, it's a little like none of this is functional. Like, I feel like there should have been a link to some of this stuff to make it more interactive. Like, something. Like, LimeWire could have linked up to her Spotify. Hot Topic could have been, like, one of the places that she went to where she sold her merch. It's whatever. Let's get into the video.
If this is what we're doing, then this is what we're doing.
Wow, we can't even play it in fast speed because she's already speaks so fast. Let's try. Okay, let's try this.
Talking about the real reason Frenemies broke up. So, like, clickbait is crazy at this point.
Okay, this is gonna be fucking disastrous. So sorry to my fans, but we're gonna watch this while we play a video game. Because I don't think I could sit through this by itself.
It's actually just like, it's amusing if it wasn't amusing. One, in this video, I will be...
This is on 75% speed just for like 2 seconds, and you see it sounds normal. Crazy.
Defending my sister. And
okay.
just continuing the continuation of the saga, because clearly he likes to drag it out. He's making jokes about it. So... He says I'm ruining his family, but...
He's the one dragging it out. Okay.
This specific one.
Agreed.
Agreed. There's new merch at sadboy2005.com. I also have skincare at trisha.com.
Hey guys, Ethan is really dragging this out. By the way, you can get my really shitty products if you go to this website that I'm going to tack on to talking about Frenemies, because I know it gets me views, and mostly nothing else does right now. How do you like that?
Plenty of ads in this video. Thank you for coming.
Did she just say she put plenty of ads in the video? What?
Oh God, okay, so I haven't really brought up anything since Sunday, right? So it's gonna be like a little bit of serious, and I don't know, maybe this will probably be a lot serious, because like...
Okay.
I was biting my tongue, right? Like, you know, people know that, like, if you bait me, I do a reaction. Everybody knows this, like, something that I probably need to work on, but we'll cross that bridge another time. I'm already working through a lot of mental issues.
You know what we really need from Trisha? In all honesty, what we really truly need from Trisha is we need a fucking video as to why her and Moses are dating. I want to know what Moses' perspective is on this whole situation, because I just don't understand. I mean this so truly and genuinely and in the least negative way possible, though there is really no way to not negatively ask this question. How the fuck do you put up with Trisha and date her? I just don't understand. Like, how do you do it? I would read the book that Moses wrote about why. It just needs to be called Just Why. What the fuck?
So, Ethan clickbaited the Frenemies, might as well be Frenemies because it's in the title. Why Frenemies really ended or something. To which the only thing he said in the video, and the only thing he focused on was, sorry, I'm like burpy, sorry. I have to edit because I don't have, and I'm sorry that I make so many TikToks and videos, because I don't have, and I don't edit my videos because I don't have a crew. I don't have a wonderful staff to produce my content for me and make my...
So start having a staff to produce your content. So first of all, she does spend money on her content. I know she gets like her makeup done on her videos, where she, you know, she'll do her makeup on the video she wants to look good, and then she intentionally doesn't do her makeup because it makes her look sadder and more real, and that's why she has no makeup on these videos. It's supposed to look like it's just genuine from the heart, even though we know it's just genuine from my ass. But literally stop spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on wasteful bullshit and hire a production company. She buys clothing for hundreds of thousands of dollars. She talked about how she bought like an alligator fucking bag for like $80,000 or something in one episode of Frenemies. You could have paid somebody that much money to produce your content for you.
My little script. It's so funny because like he's like, we put in so much work to this. Like Ethan just shows up too. Like he edits out so many times when he's just like, maybe not even in the lives. I think in the lives you can see it, but he edits out so many times when he's looking at the screen and like, what is this? What? This is too confusing. Like he doesn't, like the staff puts together the go-to. Anyways, shout out staff. Like,
yeah, that's a good thing that you're admitting the staff does a lot. Probably a justifier for where at the very least they deserve an additional 5% cut. Very interesting that you can't keep your story together. Of course, she didn't understand like the implications of the words she just said because she's not very intelligent. But like what she just said validates the reasons why the production company should get at the very least 5%.
Like I really do hope that staff be getting that 5%.
She bought
that was in addition to what they were already getting paid. The staff gets paid whether Frenemies goes or not. They were getting...
Dude, I just hate this entitled idea that like she doesn't think that the staff deserves any money from Frenemies specifically. They should get like a fucking huge bonus. What?
Paid years before Frenemies started. 5% was in addition to, and for everyone mocking the 5%, like it's a lot of money. Like it is a lot of money. So I really hope they each get about $10,000 raised a month, like each of the employees. Like honestly, they deserve it, and I hope they get it.
I don't think that like the 5 employees, I don't think that they could sustainably get $50,000 more a month from Frenemies alone. And if you think that they can, then that's again another justification for why they should be getting paid more than 5%. What the fuck?
So Ethan just glossing over the fact that he gets 100% of the highlights, which is 40 million views that I haven't gotten anything from, which is fine, which is supposed to go to production costs, which the production cost is only the table and the new cameras.
Production costs are only the camera and the tables, not the people who are working. Holy moly. This is horrible. This is so dumb. I'm so angry watching this.
But I digress. Okay, cool. He likes to mock it, whatever. It's fine. Like I get it now. Like, you know, he's also egging this on and dragging this on. So
the like to dislike ratio isn't as good as it should be. You know what I mean?
But one thing that did annoy me, and like I was really trying to hold my tongue, because like for me, I was like, you know what? I just want this to pass. I just want this to pass. But I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm ready for it to pass. No. Because if you're going to keep dragging it on, so will I. But the thing that really did annoy me, and I will say this is like my serious point that I want to make in this video, because it's like,
dude, this is on normal speed. She's so fast. It's
was deleted like an hour after she made it. I hadn't even seen the TikTok before she deleted it. Obviously, she knew that it was going to make things worse. I ask everybody in my life to not talk about it.
I doubt
Moses,
that.
Everybody, because like it makes
I'm sure that the reason Moses doesn't talk about it is because he doesn't want to get in the way of this very complex family dynamic here. That's the real reason why.
Situation's worse, and it gets other people involved that don't need to be involved. I've said this from day one, that is between me and Ethan. The issue was Ethan lied, and he admitted to it. He said he misspoke, which is, you lied. He basically told me, he's like, after our big fight on the episode or whatever, he texted me. First he texted Moses, hey, is Trisha still down to film tomorrow? Obviously Moses doesn't respond because he doesn't speak for me. Then he texted me, hey, we spent $5,000. This is this exact thing. We spent $5,000 on this braid room tomorrow. Like, are you still down to film? I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm down. Like,
okay,
that's what I do. I'm a freaking professional. Like, if this was a reality show, I'd come.
She's a fucking professional. I'm a freaking professional. Bro, come on. A professional wouldn't have stormed off of the fucking set like a 13-year-old child.
I'll come back and like wreak havoc, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, absolutely, I will. So this whole Trisha said she wouldn't come back unless the crew was fired and Dan was fired. Like, that's so insane to me, because I literally was like, yeah, I'm coming back the next day. I come back. Like,
that's not what he said. What he said was like, yeah, they're not comfortable filming with you because like you're a shitty person and you were just being really disparaging about them. So, you know,
whatever. But the fact is, I said, yes, I'll come back. Everything is cool. We were texting back and forth about other bullshit that was happening on the internet, just like drama or whatever. And then a couple hours later,
why not just show it?
Actually, that was Sam's segment that you discarded, and she's really upset, and Ethan's really upset, and the crew just needs a few days. Like, they don't want to film tomorrow. Like,
dude, why is that so negative? She has so much like she has so much twang on her. Like, oh, well, these people were upset that I insulted them. Wow, what a piece of shit.
That's what he said. So now that he misspoke about that, the thing that launched all of this, which is like, oh, they felt disrespected. Like I had already had my issues with, like, I don't know if Frenemies was working in my favor. Like, it's stuff I should have brought up to Ethan, and I did not. But I was already having issues, and I was like, okay, if this is not reflecting where the crew feels disrespected, like, you know, I should quit. I told Ethan I was going to quit before I made the video. Like,
or you could just stop disrespecting the crew.
There was no hate in that video, all that stuff like that. By the way, there's just so much to unload, because I was really like holding back. But by just putting a disclaimer, like, don't send hate towards people, like, that doesn't help. When you punch down, which Ethan is notorious for punching down, and that's what he did with my sister. So let's go back to this whole.
Why is your sister beneath him? I don't understand. Like, if you really think about the words she's saying that her sister is a loser compared to Ethan. I hate the punching down narrative. Like, what are you talking about? Because really what she's saying is that, like, my sister said something stupid, but like I don't want Ethan to say something negative about her because it makes me upset.
Why Frenemies really ended, which is him implying that my sister was the reason that it ended, I guess, because that's all he talked about in the video.
Well, it's clickbait, so yeah. I mean, I just don't really care.
People, right? Like, he obviously knows he has a really loyal fan base, and they're a really loud fan base. I'm obviously the one getting all the hate. They see that. So for them to do this video, like, defending themselves when I'm the one getting all the hate, it's like, it's really
Dude, so you can't make this up. She's like, yeah, they're defending themselves, but they shouldn't be doing that because it makes me upset and I get hate for it. It's because you're wrong. You're wrong. Like, it's crazy how she doesn't think she's wrong. She just thinks she's getting like just hate for no reason. It blows my fucking mind.
Just punching down. It's just punching. When it's my sister deleted that TikTok within an hour.
So
it wasn't even up.
Oh well, somebody said something stupid, but they should. Did she apologize and say, you know what, my bad for lying? Because if she did do that and Ethan still went after, okay, that's fair. You know what, Ethan, you should. She apologized. Did she apologize? Oh, she probably didn't apologize. So I'm thinking maybe it's a lot of bullshit.
Ethan had texted Moses that night, like, about the TikTok. I was like, what the heck? And I went to go look for it. It wasn't up. Then Ethan re-uploads her TikTok on his. It's still up.
Okay, and?
Okay, fine. Tit for tat, eye for eye. You want to, like, you got upset by something she said, like, okay, defend yourself, whatever.
Okay.
But then to make a whole podcast where you clearly clickbaited, where you knew everyone was going to watch the real reason why Frenemies ended, and it worked. It was like 100,000.
I mean, like, yeah, clickbait is shitty, but isn't that's like just what people do on the internet? Like, people suck. I don't like. Is that the argument now? Is like, well, I didn't like that it was clickbait. Like, what is happening here?
People watching it live. It's like 1.5 million views now. I was like, and then to talk about
guys, this woman is 33.
The work that she does and stuff like that. I was like, that's like punching low because she already deleted it. Like, what else?
What does punching low mean? I really need you to answer that. Like, why is it punching low? And like talking about the work she does, you mean that she's a spice accountant? That's what she said. She was a spice accountant because she has an OnlyFans. What's happening here?
Do you want? Like, she already deleted it. I talked about it on TikTok this morning, but I'm going to just go ahead and talk about it in here. It's first and foremost, I have to say, this is just so stupid that this is like what Ethan grasped onto. And I am saying,
not to keep rambling, but this is why like commentary TikTok is worthless, because when Trisha is the embodiment, because Trisha on TikTok does better because you don't have to give any nuance. You have a minute. Hey, this is bad, and you don't have to explain yourself. You're not expected to. But like the second that you bring it onto YouTube, look at this. This is what she sounds like. She's fucking psychotic. This is why commentary TikTok is dead, and it's dying. It's getting worse and worse.
Ethan, because again, it's between me and Ethan. I know Hila and him are married, and she wants to defend him and sit by him. I respect that. I totally respect that. But like, again, as far as I'm concerned,
you see what she's doing there? What she's saying is that like Hila, if they weren't married, wouldn't be defending him. Do you like how that she's like trying to put that plant that seed in your mind of thinking like it's only because they're married? Like, yes, you should be loyal to who you're married to, but
between me and Ethan, like me and Ethan text. I haven't had any conversations with Hila about this, so and she respectfully, she wasn't at the Frenemies when it happened, so of course she's not going to know about everything that happened, but like,
she probably could have watched the tape. Also, Ethan's more reputable than you, so I would believe what he said over you, of course.
He fills her in on, and
that's because every time we see the footage, you're lying.
I respect it, and I just want to reiterate that I love and respect.
And let's also keep in mind that Trisha's the one that brought this onto the internet. We forgot about that. I forgot about that. This is what happens when you go through drama over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Is that like the narrative changes every single time by the person that's presenting the narrative. And like Trisha started it. This thing it was a blow up. It stayed in private. And then she made a video of that's how she's leaving Frenemies because she wanted to emotionally react. And then she wanted to come back. She even made like, oh, maybe I'll come back. And like Ethan was like, it's absolutely not happening. That's why she's so upset.
Hila, I appreciate her forgiving me for stuff that nasty stuff I said to her, last year. Like it's disgusting. I know I would never forgive me. I don't forgive myself for it. And I like I said, I love and respect her, and I think she's, she has.
Oh yeah, when you called her a bitch and told her that she was a bad mom because she used a babysitter. That's what we're just politely glossing over and not really getting into the depths of.
A huge company that I'm sure gives contracts to their employees, but besides that. Again, I'm keeping this between me and him because everyone's like, Ethan saying you're ruining our family when Ethan is the one texting Moses saying that I tried to ruin his life last year, like bringing stuff up from so long ago. Like it's
show us those texts because I have no idea what the fuck she's talking about.
It's really frustrating. It's really annoying. Like, and before anyone's like, oh my God, why is Moses telling you those? Like Moses and I are also family. You're like, oh, that's between family. Moses and I are a family now. Like we're getting married. We are a family. You know what I mean?
That's good. I hope you live stream that wedding because that's gonna be something else.
Whatever the case. So, and it's fine. it's fine, you know, and
She called her a cunt and a bitch,
whatever. And it's like I want them to have a relationship. They're still invited to the wedding.
Trisha said that today about Hila.
Like, you know, again, this is a me and Ethan thing. It has literally nothing to do with anyone else, as far as I'm concerned. And again, if you know, if it's like, okay, they're a duo,
your concerns
that's fine. I don't want to put that on Hila because she has always been respectful, nice, and gracious to me, and I can't say the same thing about Ethan all the time. So there's just so much to unload in this. There's so much to unload because Ethan. Okay.
You think that she claims she goes to a therapist 4 times a week. Do you think her therapist ever says, you know, Trisha, I think that you need to not talk about these things on the internet? Like, I really genuinely don't feel like she sees a therapist that has any real meaning or value, because if I was somebody's therapist and I saw that they would constantly engage in like these really toxic patterns on social media where they would like do like really toxic commentary and they would make incredibly impulsive decisions to leave shows because they were personally offended, even if they didn't have the right justification to be, I would say before you make any video or make any rash decision, you should sit on it for 3 days.
The sister thing. So Ethan brought it up in this whole thing, and you can't just give the disclaimer, don't send hate, when you're going with millions of followers and you're getting millions of viewers on your podcast to a person, my sister in this case, a small content creator who has 100,000 followers on TikTok, and that's where she posted it and deleted it right away. Like, you are sending a hate mob. That's just it. That's just, you know, it would be like me punching down on like channels that dislike me. You know, there's a lot of channels, and there's a lot of channels that speak like straight up, like just lies, just straight up lies.
What's the logic here? This isn't even a good argument. She's like, if I called out a channel that was making fun of me, no. First of all, fundamentally, you should have the right to defend yourself. If a small content channel comes after you, they're deciding to engage in an interaction with you, where if you decide to respond, you're not punching down. In fact, you're respecting them by actually responding to them in the first place, because you're saying, I'm not better than you, so I don't have to respond to you. So like, your whole logic is so flawed. Because like, you're just being like, you know, it doesn't even make sense. It would be almost disrespectful to not respond to the sister's accusations because like, oh, that person's beneath me. Second of all, like, you could probably categorize me as one of those smaller channels that talks shit about Trisha, even though it's not talking shit, it's just the truth. I wouldn't be upset if you responded to me. Who, like, you know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? Like, your logic is terrible dog shit.
Lies about me, and it's like, I don't punch down because it's inciting hate regardless. Like, if there's an issue and if there's a serious enough issue, right, you get legal involved, you get whatever. But sending like your fans and like broadcasting it to them, like implying that that's the reason that Frenemies ended.
Literally nobody should do any commentary because some fans can be shitty and be hateful. That's her whole logic here. This is dog shit.
Ended, and then bringing up all the work that she does right online, like on other platforms, if you know what I'm saying, like the spicy account and stuff.
Spicy
it's
account.
Really just inciting hate, and she's been getting a lot of it. And yesterday was really tough. And
bro, I almost bought her spicy account because Ethan covered it. So in fact, she probably got a little bit of views from it. It's probably why she did it.
A lot of people think I was like trying to ignore it. It's like really that whole day, because I saw the title of it. I was trying to like disengage because I was like, okay, I'm not trying to like put this further. Like, I really am, like, I'll just end it. But like, the fact is, like, except for my TikToks this morning, because I did go off on TikTok this morning, just like Fish88 if you want to follow. You know, Ethan's been making continuous TikToks about this. Like, it could end at any time. I stopped talking about it Sunday. It could have ended at any time. But he's making the TikToks. He's making these skits with his employees, which is fine. I know they're like trying to mock it and like make it light because he's trying to glaze over the fact of why it really ended, which is him lying to the employees. Because let's just say in a world where I wanted all the employees fired, Ethan as a boss talking to them behind my back like that, like when I'm also an employee, right, whatever, or working with them, like, that's sketchy. Like, no matter what, I did an interview the other day and the guy was like, he was definitely team Ethan, I think, for the majority of it, but then he's like, that shit, like, even if that was true that I wanted them fired, like, going to your employees and saying Trisha wants you fired, that's some manipulation, that's some bullshit, that is just bad.
So if you, I don't even, like, dude, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. We know what you said. It's like, yeah, this is what this is her logic. Yeah, if I was being toxic and just dismissive of the crew, Ethan shouldn't be telling them that. That's your whole logic, that you should be able to get away with being a shitty person. Like, I don't understand. Like, this whole thing is crazy.
Bad bossing, period. Like
she literally made this whole argument that the people don't like. She made this whole weird argument that those people shouldn't have gotten paid from Frenemies because they get paid from the other podcasts. Like, she's delusional.
but at the end of the day, like they're not, it's not a professional production crew, right? It's not professional like cameraman, it's not professional. It's cool. Like he hires fans,
What?
it works for them. Like, you know, he hires like their
Now, now she's literally disparaging the workers, saying they're just fans of Ethan and they don't actually do anything. They're not qualified production people or cameramen. She's literally saying that they're not qualified for the job that they have, and he just hires fans for a buddy club, and he's unprofessional, while trying to make it seem like she's not talking shit about all these people.
girlfriends, and that works for them. Like, cool. Like, you know,
what the fuck?
Cool. But
oh, you just hired girlfriends? Like, apparently this Sam person was like qualified, and she was freelancing for a while, and then she lost her job, or she quit her job, and she said, "Hey, I can do this now as a full-time person."
and when you're like inciting the lies, like back and forth, like that's my issue. You know what I mean? And also that first reply video, just being like painting.
Yeah, but the other video, she's like, they work so hard, and now she's like, they're just like fans. Like, who cares?
Be this horrible person, bringing up the stuff that I, you know, that happened to me last year, like, or that I did to them last year. You know what I mean? That all was forgiven, right? He was totally cool to continue working with me for 6 months and praising me online, saying Trisha's my bestie, I love her, like, I was so lucky to have her in the family, like, yes, Moses and Trisha, your guys' relationship is killing it right now. But then now throw it all in my face publicly, be like, don't forget she did this 6 months ago, but what she said was forgiven. And it's cool if they don't forgive me, but it's fake and hypocritical if they're doing that just for the money, or Ethan's doing that just for the money. Let me reiterate that. If he's just doing it for the money, a lot of people are like, well, he clearly was just like continuing the show for the money. Well, then it's fake and hypocritical. If I say I forgive someone, I forgive them, and I don't throw it back in their face 6 months.
Where did we go? Like, how did we get to this point? Like, when did Ethan say he was doing it just for the money? Now, he may have been doing it for, I mean, money is obviously a motivator for everything. Like, let's just be honest, and let's not pretend like money isn't a big factor. But like, this just seems so asinine to me. We're all over the place.
You know what I mean? Ethan's always back to punching down. He's always punched down. Obviously, the first video he did of me was the
hey, this video from 2 years, dude. She literally just said that like when she forgives somebody, she moves on, and now she's going off again about like how this fucking video from 2 or 3 fucking years ago, where she said she forgave him, but every single time she's upset, she brings it up. She can't even stay logically consistent from actually 2 minutes ago. This is the person that people are listening to.
Mentioned him, and it was just like how she looks like a corpse and people look like Twinkies, and just coming for people about their plastic surgery when like he did about Nikita. Well, she was open about it, I've been open about it. Like the side by side he used on my before and after was one that I had posted, so not denying, but he, you know, that's his tactic, right? It's like punching down on people. Like I'm obviously hated online right now, which is, you know, it's honestly a lot of people.
Good. Thank the Lord Jesus Christ himself for you being hated online. Because you deserve it. You deserve it for real. You do.
Like a lot of people are being like, I hope you're doing. I mean, some people don't give a fuck. But
Ethan was mean to me. Yeah, he was mean to you. 2 things: 1, you're an adult, grow up. 2, you forgave him. So like, move on. And he apologized.
People are like, I hope you're doing okay. But the thing is, I like am, because
yeah, right. She's like, oh, money. It's not about money. Money isn't. Money. But you're melting down over 5%.
It was so blown out of proportion, and it's actually laughable to me. I mean,
bro, you blew it out of proportion. You're the one who made the fucking video about quitting Frenemies like a psychopath instead of just dealing with it in private.
My sister, like, I thought was pretty low to like bring her up, because like
she brought herself up, bro.
Like, you know, send hate my way. Like, it's fine. I'm on the internet. I do that. The people do that. Like, I expect it. But like, I don't know. Like, it just didn't sit right with me, because she had already apologized. She recognized that it was making the situation worse. So
recognizing that it makes the situation worse isn't apologizing for lying about the situation. So like, let's make sure we don't conflate those two things.
Now, if we're going to talk semantics on it, there's just so much I want to talk about, because then I want to talk about the private text messages. Like, this is the thing. Like, Ethan is no better than me. Okay? Like, I think the thing is... That's a really insult. That's probably the most insulting thing that she's ever said. There's no way... I think from an objective stance, quite literally everybody in the entire world is better than you. I keep admitting, like, I'm not a great person. I'm a shit person. I handle things shitty. But he can't admit...
Would have been like shittily.
One fault. He'll say he misspoke, but mine are straight lies. Like, if I like don't remember something, or if I say something or whatever like that, then those are straight lies. But like, if he did something which was pretty detrimental to like the real end of Frenemies, that was Sam's thing, that was Sam's content, you shit on, and Ian's upset, and they need a few days. The crew needs a few days. When they went and go film the next day, it's like they really just sort of said, you shouldn't come tomorrow, not the crew needed days. So then when Dan went to Discord and said, that wasn't Sam's, I have no idea, Sam's idea, I don't know where Trisha got that from. And he goes, and also no one told her that the crew wasn't going to film. We were ready to film. That's when I showed the text messages. And let's just not, again, think that Ethan is so above and elite me, because he showed my text messages the following Wednesday to prove that I'm a liar, because I said I loved the movie. I was hyping him up. I was like, oh yeah, I love that movie. And then when we watched the movie the day before, I was just like, oh, I like didn't see this movie. To me, that's not like a lot. It's just like him forgetting that it was his idea for the costume. Him saying, they're all your ideas. When I showed the text too, that they're his ideas. But again, none of this matters. And let's go. Speaking of none of this matters,
what the fuck is happening
just
right
not
now?
The point, and just so much deflection.
Like she's Ben Shapiroing us right now.
She lied. Your sister lied. She really didn't lie. And I think okay. First and foremost, in a VIP trip, he's like, the VIP trip, you can include up to 10 people. That is true, but each person has to have their own ticket. So you still have to pay for each individual's tickets.
That doesn't make any fucking conceivable sense. What she just said is that the VIP is up to 10 people for the same flat rate at Disney. She's on to Disney now. She didn't mention that. And she's like, but everybody needs their own tickets. No, the VIP is literally everybody. What are you talking about? This is so fucking confusing. This doesn't even, you can verify what she's saying on the internet by looking into the pricing of fucking Disney VIP tickets. They're good for up to 10 people. You pay like a flat rate for like up to 10 people. I'm so confused, bro.
Now, to clarify, this was a Disney trip. My mom has always taken me to Disney, but because I like to go VIP and stuff like that, like
I'm jealous.
Pitched in, and they really did. My sister makes money.
I am
doing
jealous.
Her own work that they've discussed that I'm not gonna repeat on.
You're doing her own work. You mean doing her spicy accountant to fans? Because that's what it is.
Here, my mom makes money. She sells my stuff and everything like that, and so does.
What stuff does she sell? Does she sell your fucking fake tits on the internet? Like, what does your mom sell? I know she records you and your sister doing OnlyFans together because you admitted you guys mud wrestle. That's a weird bit. Imagine that.
Moses. So they all like chipped in for all of this, right? It was like a group thing. It was the VIP, it was the bus and all this stuff like that, plus the party, right?
Okay.
Moses took care of the party. So it was like this group thing, right? Now, like, obviously, once again, none of this really...
Isn't Moses rich? Like, what do they do? I'm just saying. What is it that he does? What does he do?
Matters, right? None of this matters, because Ethan's still like texting Moses like, I'm gonna pay for it. Like, nobody wants to be paid. My sister did this TikTok. I'm
so confused. That's the whole issue. Ethan's like, I'll pay for everything. Apparently Ethan wanted to pay. She wouldn't let him pay. Trisha's crazy. He let it go. I said, but hey, listen, if somebody told me they were gonna pay, I'm not gonna fight with you. Okay, I have my own. I don't have too much of an ego to be like, you know what, you can pay. I'm okay because I want to save my fucking money.
Sister misspoke.
So,
she inserted herself because she was trying to defend me and her.
But she lied.
That made us uncomfortable in the first place, which was the Disney trip, which is the Candlestick thing, talking about my SA.
No. That's a different thing. That's two different things. She's conflating the trip with the Candlestick. He already apologized, but his perspective was like, hey, you talk about so publicly and loosely and on Frenemies, and I know your family watches it, so he asked them about it. They made them uncomfortable, and he apologized. That's the thing. See, when you fuck up and you actually apologize, people don't care anymore because you apologize. It was a shitty thing for him to bring up, but he apologized for it. He realized that he was being stupid. Life moves on. We're okay. But like, she's trying to make it. It's not the Disney trip. Isn't the same thing as the Candlestick thing. Those are two separate incidents.
If I talk about it on the podcast, if I make all the jokes about it, like, it's just so inappropriate to bring up to my mom and sister.
It is. That's why he apologized.
Like, had trouble dealing with that, like. Because
what's weird is that like you didn't even realize you were violated until Ethan told you after you brought it up as a joke on an episode of Frenemies.
She's not as open about talking about my past. She's dated guys that have
like you guys didn't even think that this was a bad thing until you guys were made to realize that it was. So I'm a little confused about like I'm just confused about how you guys could claim that this was like something that was really upsetting to you when you guys didn't even know that it was bad. I don't know. And
me being that kind of worker in her face in the past, and she's just not as open. She doesn't, it's just not a comfortable thing. It's not something we talk like openly.
But anyway, he apologized.
About like, it really, really affected us. Like after that trip, like it really did. Like I don't know how to explain it. And I think that was like the beginning of my thinking that maybe Frenemies wasn't for me. Again, I'm not blaming Ethan for any of that. Like, I'm just thinking like, okay, maybe this is.
You quite literally are. Objectively. Like, what are you talking about? She's just all over the place.
I thought that I could handle and like joke about this stuff like I've always have. I mentioned it in David's vlog, like, you know what I mean? But then I realized like some of this stuff is like really something I need to deal with. Like,
yeah, you realize that after Ethan told you that it was inappropriate. Like, why are we forgetting that factor?
When we brought up the Robin Williams thing and I didn't want to talk about it, I was really like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I get it. I've been making jokes about it. And
we also don't know what happened with Robin Williams. Like, you met him like one time probably at like a fucking, I don't know. I don't even know where. I'm not even going to make a funny story about it. And now you're acting like you were so personally connected and impacted. Like, what happened with Robin Williams and Trisha Paytas? Like, what the fuck?
Like, I'm really not healed from. And I shouldn't be joking about it. And I shouldn't let. Anyways, I already made a whole video about that. Besides,
okay.
Yes, you do have to pay for individual tickets. Now, I was so happy that they came. How it all went was originally we were supposed to go for one of their family members' birthday in June, and they're like, "You should come with us." I was like, "Yes." Then Ethan texted me like, you know, maybe not because, you know, we want it to be all about this person's birthday. Obviously, yes, of course. So then he's like, we should go though and still do a vlog. And so I was like, oh, well, weird, because they were surprising me. I remember just being on the couch and be like, well, weird. Like, I feel like they're surprising me, but they're not telling me because like they kept telling me to like, oh, you know, keep Thursday open, whatever. And then he kind of asked Moses, and Moses was like, oh, because it was like a surprise, whatever. And then whatever. I was so happy. I would pay for everybody. And now as far as like the birthday dinner goes, like the begging.
What's happening? So he invited her to Disney for somebody else's birthday, but then realized that he overstepped, so he uninvited her, but said we should go ourselves. So then Moses invited him to your birthday.
It's just so crazy that this is what it's come to. Like, I don't even know. But, like, I really do have to say this because I feel like I have to defend my sister because, like, well, she lied. He begged to pay. Now, like, it wasn't a beg to pay situation. It also didn't matter. I paid for my own birthday dinner. It is fine. I paid for my own birthday dinners for so many years. Like, I don't expect anyone to. I don't expect anyone to pay for anything, including the Disneyland trip. I kept saying to my family, I kept saying to Moses, like, you know, like, let me pay for it. Like, you know, I feel guilty having anyone pay for anything. Like, so when we did all the food segments, like we paid, and I do think I believe that Ethan paid for maybe he paid for one of I think he paid for one of the meals. Like, I have to really think about it, but which is overly nice. Like I like, to me, like, this kind of stuff is like just so silly. But like, as far as begging to pay for dinner, like, we did go out to like dinner or whatever like that, and it wasn't a begging to pay situation. It was just, he's like, I'll pay, and my sister's like, I'll pay, and he's like, I'll split it with you. And then I was like, no, because I don't like, to me, whatever you say, whatever, I hate the splitting thing. So the bill comes, whatever, like, no, you know, so I'm the first. You could ask anyone to take out, I'm the first. I'm like, here's my card. But I was like, you know, and then so I asked Moses to hand over the bag. I paid for it. Whatever. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a fight, you know, and honestly, like, what was I supposed to do? Fight for it? Like, a lot of people do. Like, that's just what people do.
Dude, whatever. What the fuck is she's saying? Like, nothing. She's just talking. What is happening?
But it's just not the point. But the fact that they took that, right, something that my sister deleted that I never even spoke on, that I still don't care. The only reason I'm speaking on it is to like say
you did.
Wait,
lies,
right? Like, he didn't.
Wait, I'm pretty sure Trisha did speak on this topic. She was like, "Oh, you invited yourselves to Disney and then didn't pay or something." What's happening, dude?
My sister money, I guess he offered Moses money, but again, none of this is like really relevant to the whole thing because they obviously have money. They pay for stuff. I pay for stuff. Whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I never was like, pay me for that. You know what? I don't know. It's just.
I just don't know what's going on.
Like, even like the costumes and stuff. I don't. He like offered to pay the first time for like all the costumes that I've had made for us. You know, for our couples costumes on the show. And like, of course, the first time I'm like, no. You know, like, it's fine. Like, I don't care, you know, like, I don't care about that stuff. I really don't. Like, the fact that this is like becoming a thing, I don't know. And like the 5% thing just being a joke and like mocking it. It's like, people being like, wow, you know, because people now are like, wow, the 5%, like, I guess that paid for all 3 of your weddings. It's just like, it's really just annoying. And the Disneyland thing is the most annoying thing. And it's just so nitpicky. And it just takes away from the whole thing of like, what
it is nitpicky, but like from the opposite direction. Like, you're the one, you and your family are the ones nitpicking. It's very annoying. It's fucking stupid as hell.
And I just think it was low. And it's the same thing as like, the punching down thing is something that I've just seen recently.
This could have been like a 10-minute video. I hate people who drag shit out like this. It's so fucking boring.
Dan and Ethan. Now, as far as me and Dan, like obviously Dan had made it clear from the beginning, he didn't want me on the first H3 podcast. This is years ago, right? He wasn't a fan of mine, didn't want me on the show, whatever.
Okay, I can understand why. I can understand why.
Sorry, I'm burp again. Sorry.
I wonder why he didn't like you. I couldn't fucking imagine that it has to do with the fact that you're out of your goddamn fucking mind. Now she's crying because Dan didn't like her. Like, this is pathetic.
I mean, I don't think I've ever made it like, you know, I always was like, oh, the H3 crew, whatever. Like, you know, so that was before. But then as I like got to know them and started doing stuff with them and stuff, like obviously I wasn't like fire Dan or whatever. You know what I mean? Like Dan, I was like inviting to my wedding, you know, so it doesn't like make sense. But
so you guys moved forward from it.
And, you know, Dan has always like hyped me up, always been nice to me, like since we started Frenemies. Like it's a different thing. So again, bringing up the past doesn't make any sense because like we didn't know each other.
How the fuck did we? Oh my god!
It was a long time ago. It was before Frenemies started. So it was just us three. And then like I noticed like as we started doing more stuff and like being outside and like the real world and vlogging, like first and foremost, like I even said it on the Disney vlog, like I am not a vlogger. I don't feel like super comfortable vlogging. Like
that sounds false.
Like I'm like again blaming Ethan for it. Obviously I participated in it, but in general I just don't vlog anymore.
Wait, so she's complaining that she didn't want to do the blog even though she was down to do it? This is what the fuck are we like, dude? This has to be like, this is an exercise in fucking insanity. Like, did we not see that?
I feel like I'm disrupting people when I'm vlogging. I feel like I'm annoying and obnoxious and I don't know. I just am like, that's just so not my thing anymore. Whatever. So then the second vlog we did was the bus thing, right? The bus tour thing. And that's when I was just like, okay, so like they left it in. So again, not really having this, what do you call? I guess sense or whatever of, like having, I gotta wrap this up.
What the hell's going on outside? Like battle bots?
This is so freaking long. I don't know what's up there. Of like not knowing what's like not right to put in. Like I was shocked that they left the homeless part in, like of him just like of them filming like homeless tents in LA. And you know,
I mean, I didn't watch it, but like, what does that matter? Why not film that? I mean, like, it's terrible that it happens because like California's not taking care of their homeless population. Like, we should be censored the upsetting parts of life. Oh, it was really sad that we had to see homeless people because it made me uncomfortable when I blow money on bullshit all the time. Like, whoa, like, I'm not particularly thrilled with you. Show everybody the homeless shelter. Make everybody uncomfortable and realize that the world isn't a fucking perfect place and politicians don't give a singular fuck about you.
I've been guilty of it too, being like, oh my god, there's like so much homeless and stuff like that. It's just, it's shocking. It is shocking, but it's like not funny and it's not something cute to put in a vlog. So that was like the first thing I was like, okay.
Yeah, right. You're uncomfortable with it, so you don't think it should be in there.
Was we went by this like lunch truck and it was like construction workers and him just like on his microphone like being like, why are you eating there? And it's like, okay, it's construction workers working at the Beverly Hills thing. And then the final thing was that girl on the street, like, yes, he was heckling people and people were like giving him like thumbs up, but this girl was like, this is all you have better to do is just like heckle me. And he's like, oh, just heckling me. Like the fact that it was like left in there, and then I was just thinking, like, okay, maybe that's
we're just so much information.
This is not the sense of humor or the type of comedy I want to participate in it, where we're just like screaming.
Okay. I mean, like, what? I just feel like, what are we supposed to be taking seriously here at this point? Like, this is just stupid.
Outside of people's
like, she didn't like that. She thought it was inappropriate. So why not after be like, hey, I didn't like that segment. I found it to be rather inappropriate. That's all you really needed to do. I don't understand.
You know what I mean? Like, and I get people think it's funny, and I know he's gonna be like, what are you, the comedy police? And it's like, I'm not the comedy police. I'm just saying, for me personally, that was like a time where I was just like, maybe this isn't like, we don't have that same sense of humor where like,
I find it really weird that like her whole thing is like, I didn't like that sense of humor for that particular segment, so I don't think that we should do that anymore. But like, you called Hila like a bitch and a cunt, and like, I feel like you could at the very least give him the benefit of the doubt and talk to him like a person. Like, it's okay. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that you would have to, that you're trying to make it seem like you ended the whole thing because you didn't like that sense of humor, but you called his wife a cunt and a bitch, and you said that they were both terrible parents for having a nanny, and then you want us to be like, yeah, good, that's a good reason. Like, you guys didn't have the same humor, so like, that makes sense as to why you abandoned the podcast. What the fuck is this? Okay.
Frenemies worked, right?
Just give me like a clam.
Like things, whatever. And everyone's saying like, it's so weird that a show about being enemies ended when it's like literally in the title. And I totally agree, whatever. He's like, the final straw was like her posting the private text messages when he did the exact same thing that next day. And he read my text messages with Moses on episode 1. And I was just like, we both said like, no, that wasn't public. Ethan still like thinks that was already made public. It definitely wasn't. It was things that were like, don't put in there. Anyways, again, in the past. But I was like, okay, so that was the straw that broke the camel's back was the text message, but then you also showed my text messages. So okay.
Didn't you show? No, wait. Yeah, she showed text. Okay, again, we're all over the place. He showed text messages because she. What is happening here? Who the fuck? How is this guy dying? What the fuck is happening here? Dude, okay. Anyway, so he had to show text messages. Like, that was like the whole thing.
Regardless of all of it, like, I do feel a sense of relief. You know, I am someone who doesn't, like, obviously, like, I quit, but I come back, right? Like, that's just, like, my thing, whatever. And I don't...
I like how she glosses over one of the most toxic traits that she has. Yeah, like, that's my thing. I quit and come back. Like, no. Yeah, you don't just quit and come back, which is already, like, a toxic trait as an individual as it is. No. Like, you make it a thing. You gaslight the fuck out of people before you quit, and you tried to rationalize your irrational behavior. Like, that's a very different thing that I think that we need to acknowledge here.
To be like, oh, well, if you say you quit, then of course, but like that following day after the video was made, he did text me like, I'm screwed with all this merch, like I don't know what to do with it. And I was like, I'm happy to help promote it. Like, you don't have to give
promote what is there to promote? It's the show's dead. How the fuck do you promote dead merch? Doesn't even make sense.
Any money. Like I said from the beginning, I was surprised they were going to give me any cut of that merch at all. Like, you know,
no, you weren't. You have a fucking contract, you idiot.
To, you know, have branded merch. I love merch. I buy merch. You can buy my merch at 45. Like, I was excited, and I was like, I'll still promote it, and you don't have to, you know, pay me anything. Although now it comes out that he said all the Frenemies money went into the merch, which that was news to me. Like, you know, that
yeah, well, because you're a fucking idiot.
Really didn't lose anything because that was also like what people don't understand is like the Frenemies highlights is also like. I attribute to that, like Trisha being Trisha in the title, like that is also the money that he's like, we will put towards production costs. So now he's saying he's putting it to the production of the merch. So I guess in that case, I don't.
Like, does she just not understand that you have to buy things to sell them? Like, that life isn't like, I don't understand. I'm assuming that because she does OnlyFans, that she doesn't really understand that, like, you have to buy product to sell product. And so as a porn star, you don't have to buy product to sell it. You're just selling your worthless body. So I could understand why she's not understanding this, but like, how dumb do you have to be to not understand the fundamentals?
I don't feel as bad because I'm like, okay, but I still hope people buy the merch. I still hope he makes money.
No, why would they buy the merch? And you would still have to get paid because there's a contract, and like, you would most likely sue him.
Because at the end of the day, like, right, like, it's fine. Like, you know, if it's done, it's done. Like, I'm not trying to beat like this like dead horse, right? But like, if you're gonna keep titling things Frenemies, then I'll just go ahead and do it too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, give me those views, give me that AdSense too. You know what I mean? That, like, in this case, if this is what it is, it's money and it's drama, and you're making like jokes about it where you're totally comfortable with it, as is your crew, obviously not offended by it or upset by any of it. Then hey, neither am I. I mean, I'm, as people keep pointing out, I'm the borderline over here. I'm the one that's up and down. I'm the schizophrenic. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yeah, nobody's saying you're schizophrenic. In fact, most people are saying that you shopped around for a doctor until you found somebody that would give you the diagnosis that you wanted, because you're most likely not that thing. Maybe bipolar. There was another one, borderline personality disorder. Those are things that people are like, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't think anybody's like, yeah, schizophrenia. Probably not. Like, honestly, that's the whole biggest problem. Is like, if it was anybody else, nobody would be questioning your diagnoses for any of your mental health issues. But because you're you, specifically you're you, a lying, disingenuous person, people are questioning it now. Because you faked having dissociative identity disorder, and you faked having gender dysphoria as a clout trip. Like, you did it for clout. Like, you did it because those were the hot topics. And now you're back to like, oh, I have it again, but you know, you just can't. But in reality, the reason that you have any level of discomfort with your gender is because you associate over-sexualization with femininity. And you do that to a point where it gives you like a feeling of uncomfortableness when you overly sexualize yourself and you don't give yourself a break from it. And now you're like, yeah, it makes me feel happy to call myself a boy because of that. That's really what it comes down to. Like, you don't really have gender dysphoria. You just don't know how to turn yourself off.
I do like,
and that's one of the problems with doing fucking OnlyFans as a career. It drains the fuck out of you. It beats the crap out of you doing any like type of adult content like that.
Go, like, I'm up and down, I have highs and lows, and like, it's kind of whatever. And
It's not whatever. Like, this is one of those really big problems that we have to really acknowledge as a society, because like if you have an issue where you're really up and down, that's toxic for people around you. You having some kind of a mental issue isn't the responsibility of anybody around you. It's your own responsibility. And when you gloss over the negatives of that, you're just glossing over your accountability. Like, yes, having a particular mental illness is going to make you more prone to inappropriate behavior, but that doesn't mean that you're allowed to, like, most people who have these things, people have reached out to me like, yeah, this makes perfect sense, is they'll have like an episode because they have like some kind of like a mental incongruence, we'll call it, and they're like, yeah, in the moment I feel like I'll have an episode and I'll melt down, but then afterwards I'm like, fuck, I really fucked up. This is the thing. Trisha, it doesn't do these shitty things because of a mental illness. She genuinely believes the shitty things that she does, because she doesn't, like, afterwards, she doesn't have like a moment of reflection and go, oh shit. No, she's the one who just willfully doesn't take her medication and doesn't have accountability for her actions and blames it all on the mental disorder rather than actually like being a fucking adult and having any level of accountability for herself.
I don't know. Like I said, I think the thing with my sister, it just like, it really hurt because she is affected by it. Like, she is off the internet like for a while on it. You know what I mean? She's, you know, she was affected by it, and you know, I obviously told her she wanted to fight back. My sister is very feisty, and you know, I was just like,
I know this is all going off a tangent, but like there are actually some times where doctors will prescribe, will give you like mental health specifically. They may give you like a misdiagnosis intentionally because their goal is to get you on a particular medication, and it might be easier to get you that medication if they could just diagnose you with something. I wouldn't doubt that like Trisha got a diagnosis for a particular medication that she may have needed, even if it's not the diagnosis that she needs. It happens a lot in like the professional field, especially with people from like, I guess you would say like more shattered homes. Where they might have PTSD, but they might prescribe it as something else because you know, maybe they'll say it's something else just so that they can get the medication and it's like easier to get. So I wouldn't doubt it if something like that happened. Unfortunately, she doesn't seem to take her medication from, like, that's what she says, so it doesn't really matter. She seems like more interested in like having something so that she gets to weaponize it than actually like treating an issue that she has.
It's just that thing is just not a big deal, but the fact that they like clickbaited that and then made that the segment, I was like, wow, okay, like there is a lot of other things you could like say about me or to me, but the fact of the matter is, like, honestly, it's not cool, like him seeing Moses, that like I tried to ruin his life last year, like trying to bring up stuff again from our past that we—
I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. You know what I mean? Like, what is she referring to? What's the new claim? I don't know what the hell she's talking about. How are we going to accurately talk about it without her actually justifying the claim?
Work through it, and the internet is obviously all hate towards our way, including Moses. Like, you know, they could say don't incite hate towards Moses, don't send hate towards Moses, like he's in the middle of this, like it's out there, and no matter what you say, by even, you know, it's out there. Oh, you know, why doesn't he do this, why didn't he do this? When no one really knows the details of like his relationships with people and any of that stuff like that, it does suck. It does suck that he's in the middle of it. And he's always been like, I can say something, like, should I say? And I'm just like, no, because it's just not about him. Or, you know, my sister obviously shouldn't have gotten mail. I'm not denying that. Like, she obviously shouldn't have made that TikTok. You know what I mean? She deleted it. She knows that. And like,
right, but again, the justifier from your perspective isn't that like she deleted it because what she said was wrong. It was deleted because simply that your perspective isn't like, oh, she's lied, because she did. She lied objectively. The issue, you're not saying that she lied objectively, so she should have taken it down. Your thing is like, yeah, she said that she's sorry because she shouldn't have just put her hat in the ring in general because it just drums up more controversy. So you're not really apologizing for anything. You're just like, you're not even, she doesn't even apologize for the lie. She just apologizes for stirring the pot, so to speak.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not really about anyone else too. It's about me and Ethan misspoke about a very big thing. He put blame on specific people. Sam and the crew doesn't want to film with you. Like, that's a very specific thing, and that's a very—
yeah, they didn't want to film with you. That wasn't like that wasn't a misspeak. That was they don't like you. I couldn't imagine. How do you not like? I couldn't. How does she not realize people don't like her? Like, is that what this all stems from? She just doesn't understand that people really don't like her as a person. I think that's like the biggest part of her delusion, is she thinks that like there's just no way that people don't like me. That's what this kind of feels like. But like, how the fuck do you not realize that? Like, nobody really likes you. Like, you kind of suck. Like, you're kind of a shitty person. Like, I don't know. Who would like you is the better question. I mean, Moses. Like I said, I'd buy a fucking book. I'd like to know. Like, how does Moses put up with this girl? I really would like to read a book about like why Moses is in love with Trisha Paytas. Like, honestly. Honestly.
And then he went
and like not to be rude, but like I remember when Trisha like started out doing the OF content, and I remember watching a video of her like performing a particular act on a phallic object, and I was just like, wow, this looks like it would feel terrible. And I'm not trying to be like rude. It's just like, why would you date that person? You know what I mean? Like, what do you like? And she doesn't have a good personality, and she doesn't have a good mouth. So like, what the fuck's the point? I don't know, man.
That I wanted them all fired. That's very gross. That's what this is all about to me. And I was just like,
shut up.
That's some pretty effed up shit, right? And maybe he wanted this downfall. Maybe he wanted it to end. I'm not really sure, right?
Yeah,
because
now we're playing conspiracy theories in people's minds.
That, like everything, like obviously knowing that I was gonna get like hate and stuff like that. Because in my head, I'm still like, oh, it was like fine, because I really didn't think I was being, obviously what I said was rude, but it wasn't like I was trying to attack the Chris. I was just like, okay, put it out there. But like, if he really,
hey, your work is really like, I mean, like, let's be right now, just before she was saying that those people aren't even professionals and that they're just his fans that just do stuff. All right. Those are the words you said. So like, how are you like playing this game now where it's like, I wasn't being that mean. Like, you were being a real bitch. And like, just the way that you casually talk about how like they're just fans and they're not actually professionals, like, you do realize just makes this whole thing even worse, and it gives you less credibility. I would guarantee it, being a really shitty person to them.
Thought this was so awful what I did in that episode. Like, why even put it out? So obviously maybe wanted this downfall, maybe wanted a rift between me and the crew. I'm not.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. You being a total bitch, he probably wanted that to happen. I really just don't believe that. I don't even know who would. Somebody that was apparently 9,400 people did, because they liked it right here. I don't know how you could do that, but I got to interview somebody that likes Trisha Paytas. Like, I think I would love to do that. I would like, how do you listen to this and go, yes, this makes sense?
Remember when he told AB to do the video about David Dobrik to kind of play devil's advocate and be like on David Dobrik's defense team during all this, like after he had like when Seth was on the podcast and stuff like that, and after I came out with my stories, and then AB got all that hate. And then he turned it around and was like, well, AB, I hope you learned your lesson. Like, I basically like chastised AB, even though he asked him to do it. And now ever since, AB has been super quiet. So I mean,
what is happening
a power
here?
thing or a thing to make me like more like quiet or something. I'm not really sure, or to be more obedient. Like, you're right, I'm so sorry. Like, come back. And that's what.
Dude, what the fuck is happening here, Trisha?
Everyone's just like, apologize, Ethan. Apologize.
I should interview Trisha. I don't think that I could afford Trisha. I don't think that she would ever. I mean, like, I don't think she would ever sit down and have this conversation. Like, I mean, I wouldn't if I was her. It would be complete. Like, she would look even worse. What the hell? You know what I mean?
It's like, I have no apologies to say to him. I do apologize to the staff once again, because like,
hey, wait a minute, didn't she just say she was happy for David coming back? I have a video about my perspective on David Dobrik. It's a whole thing. You can go take a look at it. But like, I'm failing to see the point in all this. That's what my fucking problem here is.
Disrespectful is being disrespectful, and I'm again, I didn't want them fired, but like, absolutely, they have every right to feel disrespected, and I apologize for that. But just know that it's a lie when I said I didn't want to come back to work, that I wanted everyone fired. Like,
you quit? What do you mean there's a lie that you said you didn't want to come back to work? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck?
In addition to is not firing a crew. There was never a Frenemies crew to fire. They have always had a job. They always had a full-time job. They can.
Right. Again, back to the narrative where like you can. This is what she was saying. She was like, we should get a whole other crew for our podcast because they don't make money from Frenemies anyway. Like, yeah, she was effectively saying that they're like, they don't do anything. So why don't they just hire a whole other crew and effectively, yeah, fire them from Frenemies? That's what she's been saying the whole time. She has this like deluded idea in her head that like the Frenemies, that the production team doesn't, because they get paid from the other podcast, means that they can't work on this new podcast and they don't deserve any of the money or the cut from it. So they should hire an entire new crew, even though it's the same production company. She just isn't making any logical sense. It's fucking insanity, dude. It's insanity.
to, like, it doesn't make any sense.
Fucking
like,
guy, dude.
So I do apologize to them. I was going to apologize to her for what I said to her, you know, back last year. Like, it's disgusting. I have no idea how you were able to forgive me and let me into your home and around your family. Like, I appreciate you. I love you. And I love your family. And I'm so honored to be a part of it. And I think that ruining our family thing was like what Ethan said was like, that one hurt a lot. That one definitely hurt the most because I'm really just, it's not even doing my best. It's like I'm leaving them out of that because it really doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. So I do apologize to her. Obviously, I apologize to Moses. I feel horrible, you know, for Moses. Obviously, he's with me and loves me and all stuff like that. But like all this stuff is not something he signed up for. But yeah, I mean, if this is the back and forth we're going to do, I mean, I'm just down to do it at this point. At first, I was like, you know, let it go, Trish. Then you'll look like the bigger person. But
let it go, Trish. You look like the bigger person. I think you made 10 videos. He's made 2. How is that your perspective to have? Is like, yeah, I should just let it go because I'll be the bigger person. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, you are quite literally the bigger person, but like when it comes down to it, like there's no way that you have any you have no moral standing over anybody. I don't understand.
When have I ever been the bigger person? Not today, not now. They're monetizing it, I'm monetizing it, you know, whatever. Let's go. Let's just keep going back and forth. And I guess, I don't know. At this point, like, it really does seem like we just like we didn't understand the assignment. Like, we just like lost the plot. I don't know how to use Gen Z things. And
what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's like, we're tired of hearing about this. And everyone's like, why aren't you responding? And so this is my response. I was doing TikToks. I was like, whatever, I don't want to make a whole video about it. But I was just like, okay. I saw that they did like the whole clickbait and the 1.5 million. I'm like, oh, it's at 1.5 million, you know, whatever.
Nobody could ever accuse Trisha of writing a script. I'll tell you that because this is fucking chaotic.
I hope that clarified things. I don't know. Bottom line, like, I really
clarify
like
anything. I don't know
of all the things that I started feeling like kind of icky about towards Ethan, and he probably feels icky about a lot of things towards me, which is fine. But I was just like, this punching down thing is just like, it's just not cute. It's like not cute at all. Like, I don't know.
Punching down. That's the new narrative. That's the new dismissive narrative. Punching down, punching down, punching down. Her sister is like worthless to her, so she has to be down.
I can't imagine like just going after. I don't know. I think I probably used to do that, but like there's so many channels that, like,
oh yeah, that's true. Like she posted 10 YouTube videos and then like probably like 30 fucking TikToks about it.
But like, again, or going for someone with like a lesser fan base, or going for, you know what I mean? Like,
who cares?
I don't know. To me, it's just like, I see so
if you don't want somebody with a big fan base coming after you, don't commentate on their shit. It's quite literally that simple. Fuck.
Am I supposed to respond to like every single one? There's so many like untruths, and I'm just gonna like respond to that. It's just, you know what I mean? I don't know. That just, I think, was just so crazy, and he missed the point entirely. And their logic of Ethan already addressed it on the podcast and he apologized, so it should all be forgotten. It should apply to me as well. If that's the logic we're going and that's the reality we're living in, then it should also apply to me. Stuff that I've apologized and addressed on the podcast should all be forgiven and forgotten. But it doesn't apply to me. It only applies to Ethan, right? Ethan can throw stuff in my face, but if he's apologized, then, you know, it's not even throwing it in my face. It's something that I like thought was okay, and now I'm just thinking, like, I'm like realizing to myself, I was just like, oh. So, and then so all this bullshit of like, oh my gosh, she accused me of SH, or her, you know, whatever, not SA, but SH. It's different. And I'm like, that's not it at all. Like, I'm just finally like coming to terms with like, okay, I shouldn't be okay with these kind of jokes, right? And I said, and I keep saying it, like, I'm not putting Ethan at blame. I'm like literally realizing this for myself, that I can't handle it, that I can't handle talking about it. And it really does affect me. And I realize, especially at the scale that Frenemies was becoming, like, it is getting bigger. You know, my family is going to like find out stuff where it was so casual for me to talk about it before, because it felt like I had power and I had control over it if I was talking about it. But now it's like my family is finding about stuff that, you know, I'm actually not ready to handle and talk about, which is like crazy, because I really thought like all that in the past, I talk about it sometimes in the mindset of that's didn't happen to me, that's just like a story I tell, when in reality it did, and I have to like come to terms with that, right? So all that to say, like, I was honestly ready to let it go. I didn't want more, you know, whatever, back and forth. But if this is the narrative, this is gonna be like the real reason for me, and this, and you know, I like how
Trisha's made a bunch of videos about that, and now she stopped making them because like she knew she was beating a dead horse. But then now the narrative flipped to like, well, I guess if you want to keep talking about it, I'll have to. And it's like, no, you are desperate to talk about it, because your videos where you don't talk about it do substantially worse. It's just fucking crazy.
Play it too, like, you know,
words, punchline. Yep.
I mean, it is sad, and it's like, whatever. But I mean, if this is the MO and this is like same old Trish, like I guess then same old Trish. I don't know.
Yep.
Truly though, if I'm being sincere about it, right? Not trying to troll or anything. Like I am so sad about it, right? Like when have I ever like not gone back to Frenemies, right? Like, the only reason I did put those private text messages because like I did the video and I felt I was being responsible for the crew and just being I'm gonna take myself out of the situation.
I don't even think she's saying words.
Temporarily and get back to it, whatever. Obviously, that's a dead and gone concept, but I did put out those text messages because I'm like, once I saw Dan being like, that wasn't Sam's idea. Where did she even get that? That's when I was like, okay, I don't like people like controlling the reality that just happened hours before, because I do have schizophrenia and that does include memory loss and delusions and stuff, and I'm on medication for it. I was like, no, I'm not gonna let someone like dictate reality for me, because I do get it confused a lot, and you know, that's something I'm dealing with and whatever. But like I was like, okay, that's why I try and like look and everything. And then when I saw like literally hours before him saying it was Sam's idea, and then Dan saying like it wasn't Sam's idea, I have no idea where she got it from. I'm like, okay, put these together, like they're in the course of a 2-hour time span. Same thing with like we were like the crew needs a few days and then Dan being like we were down to film and they did film the next day. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, that's not okay. There's no talking to Ethan at this point because he's manipulating, he's lying, he's straight up lying, misspoke, lying. It's a big thing to misspeak on someone's name, right? Like you're throwing other people now under the bus for it. Like it's a pretty big thing to misspeak on. So if that was the final straw, then okay, so be it. But I am sad about it ending. Like I literally was just like, hey, you've read my text messages, you're obviously lying in this situation, here it is. I incriminated myself. Obviously those text messages also made me look shitty, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like I was thinking like I'm going to dunk on Ethan. It was just like, no, this is what I said. And I didn't edit out like what I said in it, which, you know, got me hate, and rightfully so. And I apologized for that. But it is sad. Like, it is sad. Like, I did an interview this week for this, like, it's not out yet, but I did an interview, and like I said, he was pretty pro Ethan, and that's
he was
totally
pretty
fine, whatever.
pro
Like,
Ethan.
I don't even know where my thought was. Oh, but he was just sad. He was ultimately sad Frenemies was ending, right? He's like, let me mediate and like bring Frenemies back. And so I think that is the saddest part. He's like, that was a great job, and everyone keeps saying it, and it is, you know what I mean?
Now she's going on a tangent about how she misses Frenemies in the last 5 minutes. Like, what the fuck's happening?
But if he's banking on like pushing me and getting reactions, and that's fine. And some people called it exploitative. I think it was D'Angelo Wallace. He's like, he's exploiting it.
It's exploitative because he's responding to your criticisms of him. Why is it that like in all of these videos, every single time she gets hate for being stupid, it's somehow like her being exploited? It just doesn't make any sense. Like what? There's no agency for her. There's no accountability for her. It's fucking insane.
Which it is, as am I exploiting it. You know, I have these things that I do snap and I do go off. And like any other production, like if it was Real Housewives, like be like, we're going to keep filming this and exploiting it for money. And I'm down to do that because really that is my only discernible mark on the internet, right? And I've been trying to get better, but I can't just change overnight. It's going to end soon. I feel like I've been talking too long. But, you know, if that's what we're reliant on is him pushing me, which I felt he was doing in that situation, trying to push. And I was really trying to hold back. Like, obviously, like, you know, I didn't go off name calling or anything like that. I was trying to hold back. I didn't want that meme storming off, you know. I really was trying to like improve myself and not be that person. But I'm like, okay, if this is what we're trying to get again, another walk off, and you're pushing it this way, like there is a point where I do kind of like just black out and go. And I was holding it together. It was like right in that middle. But then to be like, oh, like too far, it's like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is what it is. Again, as people have pointed out, I don't know what the basis of Frenemies being like, we don't really like each other, but we're family now or whatever. Like, that's the basis of the show and whatever. And I guess that's just is what it is. But like I said, once people start feeling disrespected, like the crew and stuff, then I was like, okay, then maybe it is going too far. Like because again, that wasn't my intention, but that's how they felt. So I'm like honoring their feelings, because then I was just like, and I wasn't blaming them. And that's not maybe it's like taking myself out of a situation, which I already felt to be kind of like maybe a little uncomfortable, maybe not really my place to be anymore, not on anyone else but myself, because I was like, oh, this is like You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like their kind of thing, their kind of sense of humor, their, you know what I mean? And I've always made it clear that it wasn't my sense of humor, the H3 crew humor. It was never I never understood it. I like never watched it, never got it. So when it became more of that, right, quarantine's over, more people are involved, we're going out in public, you know, it just was like a huge adjustment to me that like maybe it wasn't the right fit. So maybe I sabotaged it, maybe he did, maybe it was just meant to be over this little 9-month span, whatever the case is. I am sad about it. It's obviously heartbreaking, and obviously on a personal level, like I keep saying, like yes, there's no reconciliation, like obviously on camera, but like personal level, like yeah, I want to reconcile. Everyone's like, you're making Moses choose between his family. Like, absolutely not. I don't think he has to choose at all. Everyone's invited to the wedding, and I hope
this is just like a bunch of words.
Is like calmed and cooled.
This was there was no substance to this after like the first 5 minutes.
The shit I've done wrong, like you know what I mean, like I have so much to work on, and it's like if he could just take like an ounce of that, you know what I mean, like that would be cool, that would be dope. And then maybe working on a personal, like, we're okay, you know, not besties, you know, but we're okay, because I really do want to be okay with everybody, right? Like,
okay, great. This is really
truly, there is not like as much as Trisha wants to come back trolling and being like, you know, I truly do want peace, and I do want to hold back the Trish rants and the Trish for people that I feel should be held accountable who don't. People who can just not say sorry or not accept that they did anything wrong and stuff like that, and not just go after every little thing on the internet that everybody does and all the gossip and the drama and blah, 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 blah. So that's the real reason Frenemies broke up in my eyes, and that's it. Have a great Saturday. Love you guys. Sad Boy 2005 merch. Buy it at trishkin.com.
Okay, well that was something.
Buy it, new Sad Boy album trigger warning. Buy it. Like a little. Okay, bye.
Wow, that was something. And I'm wiping a lot. Hey everyone, if you liked that video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow my Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and TikTok. All links are in the description. Also, check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me even more than you already do. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you all.